right, guys, we're gonna get started for real in a moment here. I promise. I promise. I promise. Let's see. Hopefully, yes, we can see writing and chatting. Yay! It's not really writing and chatting anymore. It's together we write, but you get the point. Let me pop out chat here so I can put you guys over to my left and right on my right. Woo! Shooting cab, man. Yes, big changes are coming. That's awesome. Yeah. Let me get back to where I was. Because now you guys are looking at nothing. Oh, there we go. There's the tab. My problem is I have 50 million tabs open, and I shouldn't do that, but I do. It drives me crazy. It's okay. Marrying me was crazy enough. All right, so let's go back through the last two chapters. We'll see what we got here. And yes, more shark. Absolutely more shark. You can't have Cabman without shark. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. It's okay, because right now you can be eating. I am going to be reading. Chapter 36. Didn't we already do that? Didn't we? Maybe not. Okay. All right. Chapter 36. Delilah's Heart. Seymour, I'm so glad you answered, Delilah said when he picked up the phone. He didn't sound particularly happy to hear from her when he answered. What did you need, Delilah? Oh, Seymour, don't be like that. I was just calling to check on you, she said, pouting. You know I love you. He snorted. Do you? How was Nashville? Delilah frowned. My appointment got canceled. He didn't show up. Seymour sighed. And now you're stuck in Nashville and need my help getting home? Delilah was amazed at how fast Seymour guessed it. Well, now that you mention it. There was silence on the other end of the line. His voice was low when he spoke. How much do you need? She hesitated. She felt her face flush as she spoke the words. $5,000? That's all. Silence filled the air. She heard a slight choking sound on the other end of the line, the only thing that told her he was still present. How much? She swallowed. 5,000? For what? Buying a condo? Seymour demanded. Well, no. I rang up a few bills while I was here, and if I don't pay before I leave, they're going to take me to jail. Please, Seymour, I really do need the help, she pleaded. For the love of all that's holy, what on earth could you possibly have spent that kind of money on in that short a time? Good grief, woman, it's only been 3 weeks, he said. She started doodling in the water condensation on the table where she sat, shame leading her to do something, anything, rather than owning the truth. She feared he was going to hang up on her forever, and that was a risk she just couldn't take. It was one thing to leave a man you loved before he had a chance to leave you. It was another thing to take the risk of sticking around long enough to guarantee it. I needed some clothes, for the audition, and then I had to stay somewhere, so I got this nice hotel so they wouldn't think I was poor, and then all the Ubers, and you wouldn't believe how much it costs. It all added up so fast, she explained. She failed to mention the gambling she'd done in the casinos, trying desperately to hit it big enough to pay those bills, or the hustling she'd done, conning a few people out of money to get more money to gamble. Seymour's sigh was heavy. You're still in Nashville, I trust? Yes, of course. I just said they wouldn't let me leave. He cut her off. Give me the address. Stay where you are. I'll be there in 2 hours. Oh, no, Seymour, you don't need to do that. She was horrified that he might discover the truth. He cut her off again. Yes, I do. You and I are going to have a talk when I get there. Desperation drove her to say what nothing in the world could have made her say otherwise. Seymour, you can't come. He paused. Why not? She looked at the cheap motel room, the stolen clothes, shoes that didn't quite fit. I don't think I have that much time. They told me they're calling the police in 30 minutes if I don't pay up. Who? He demanded. Let me talk to them. Her hands shook. Tears started filling her eyes. The thought of admitting the truth, of telling him what had really happened, was more than she could take. I can't, Seymour, I can't. They'll kill us both, she said. Kill you? What do you mean? Seymour's tone switched from upset to protective. I've said too much. I've got to go. Send me the money, please. Stop asking questions, she pleaded. I promise I'll make it up to you. Just please send it. Hey, Malachi, good to see you. Send Eddie. Cool. You did? Already? Awesome. Chapter 37, A Meeting of Minds. No, I'm not doing it, Hawkeye said the moment Mike told him the government wouldn't be expunging his record. Mortus held up a hand. Hear him out. I think you deserve to know the full story. Hawkeye glared at Mortus and crossed his arms over his chest. Et tu, Brute? Mortus winced. I'm not selling you out, man. You should know me better than that. Trust me? Hawkeye frowned. I did. But you know what this means to me. Mike cut through. He does. That's why he asked me to give you the full story and to record the entire meeting so you have evidence if you need it that backs you up. Hawkeye shook his head. Video evidence doesn't mean dick anymore with AI. Anyone can say I faked it. Mortus glanced over at Mike. He's got a point, man. You're going to need better than just video evidence to persuade him. Mike grimaced. Damn. Sometimes I hate tech. Even if I put things in writing, people can still accuse you of forging it using AI. Hawkeye's shoulders relaxed a bit. At least you aren't bullshitting me with promises you can't keep. That's a start. He looked over at Mortus. Go ahead and start recording. At least it'll give me something. Mortus hit a button. The red light came on, letting Hawkeye know it was being recorded. Then Mike started speaking. The story was painful for Hawkeye to hear, but validating at the same time. We suspected DeVries from the beginning, but the proof he provided of your involvement left us little choice but to strip you of rank and mark you as dishonorably discharged, Mike started. However, there were too many holes in DeVries' story for us to be content with it. Your discharge and those who vouched for you marked the beginning of an ongoing investigation that we've been conducting in secret for the last 30 years. Hawkeye stared, disbelieving as he heard the remainder. We couldn't involve you in the process. We couldn't prove you weren't guilty yet. Had we involved you, it would have contaminated the findings. Then Mike said the words that he needed to hear. We heard rumors that the CIA was involved somehow and that they were going to kidnap you, so we embedded Jacobs in the unit to investigate. He was funneling us information so we could extract you if things got too dicey. Hawkeye leaned forward. You let them kidnap me. You didn't warn me? Mike held up his hands. I know how it sounds. We couldn't act on the information we'd gotten without tipping them off. And trust me, this operation that took you is attached to something much larger and more dangerous than you realize. We couldn't take that risk without putting countless lives at risk. Hawkeye stared at Mike. How far does this thing go? Mike's face said it all. Even we aren't entirely sure. It seems to be a global operation, and we're not even sure who's running the whole thing. The threads seem to wind their way through every government in some way or another. Hawkeye wondered aloud, what's at stake if you don't stop them? Why does it matter? Mike didn't miss a beat. The organization believes the world needs to be purged of about 90% of its human population. That's a mission they are more than willing to dedicate their time, money, and resources to completing. And they're patient, resilient, and determined. Hawkeye swallowed. 90% of the population? How? Why? Mike shrugged. They believe humanity is a blight on the earth, and they're willing to employ whatever means are necessary, bioweapons, directed energy weapons, targeted genetic attacks, to accomplishing their goals. Hawkeye thought about that. So you're telling me that if I refuse to help you, billions of people around the globe could die? Mike nodded. Not could, will. The question is not if, it's when. We need you. We need them to think you're still on the outside of the military so they won't suspect you're working with us. Hawkeye's eyes narrowed. Can you prove that? Can you prove to me it's global, or are you just janking my chain? Mike's shoulders stiffened a bit before relaxing again. I can provide evidence, but you'll have to meet with me in person to get it. Are you willing? Hawkeye nodded. Mike continued. And you can't take any of what I share with you outside the room where we meet. It stays with me until the operation's over. We can't risk it getting into the wrong hands. Hawkeye leaned forward. I understand. If you can prove it to me, I'll do this. Even if nobody ever believes me, it's worth it. I laid down my life to serve my country once. This is bigger than that. Mike seemed relieved. I'll send you directions to our headquarters and a badge to get you through the doors. Mortus interrupted. I'd like to see that evidence myself, Mike, if you don't mind including me. Mike glanced over at Mortus. If that's what it takes, why don't we bring in your whole team? Let them see what they're getting themselves into, and just as importantly, why it matters now more than ever. All right, so that, yeah, it is too long. But it's okay. I'll have to edit it later, but for now, it's cool. It serves the purpose. I didn't go back through the manuscript to figure out exactly how long they've been involved. I don't know, the 30 years might not be too long. It depends on how old he was when he entered service, Cal. If he was like most people, you enter service around 18, 19 years old. You're supposed to serve for a period of 3 years, but obviously he didn't get through all of that service. He might well have been discharged at 20 or 21. If he's in his 50s, I'll track about right. So, it might not be too long. Just depends. We'll have to go back and look through what's already been written and make that determination later. Alright, chapter 38. It's about changing personnel at the HQ, priorities change. Yeah, I can see your point there. Priorities do change, but some missions do survive the handovers. Some missions are bigger than one set of administration. And this, if you really saw this picture, it might well be something that could survive 30 years. All right, let's see. Whose perspective are we doing this from? Okay, so let's give us the choices we've got. We've got Seymour coming for Delilah. We've got Mortus and the crew and the mission. We've got Lauren and the detective, which we haven't tapped into. And there we go. Can't think of anybody else we're missing. I think that pretty, or well, actually we could go back to Tolston or Jacobs. Actually, we haven't. Jacobs with Tolston and DeVries. There we go. There's our 4 options for the day. I'll leave it up to you where we look at. He is adorable, isn't he? I do like him. He's Detective Early, man. Got 2 votes for Lauren and the detective. Who hasn't voted yet? We got 4 people in chat last time I checked, so I want to give y'all a couple more seconds to make a decision. I'll have to go back and remember where we were with Lauren and the detective. We'll read through that chapter and then pick up from there. Yeah, and I think actually the detective is a good one because he may help Lauren think through this whole dilemma that she has. She doesn't trust authority. She's not really eager to sign up with this thing with government. Okay. Get a few more. And we'll call that in. You're lurking. Oh, that's it. Pookie, jump in. You do not have to be familiar with the story. Just make a decision. No decision can be wrong. All you're doing is helping us decide where we go. But I can understand if you don't feel comfortable doing it. Yes, it is quite the pretzel. Very twisty. Welcome to the party. Okay, I got 2 votes. I'm going to end the poll. I mean, you guys had plenty of opportunity to step in there and decide what you're going to do. All right, so now we've decided we're going to visit Lauren and the detective. Now, what is it that we start the chapter with? An object? So the discussion, Pookie, that decision was wrong. Earl makes his move. All right, hey, let's go for it. All right, I'm going to read back through the chapter where Earl is. The last we left off with Lauren and the detective, and then we'll decide what we're going to do in this chapter. Lauren breathed a sigh of relief as she hung up the phone. At least I know Haka is okay. She thought about Fireball. Don't worry, girl. Daddy's coming home soon. She wondered what all happened and couldn't wait to hear that story, but there would be time enough to find out later. For now, she had another call to make. Detective Man? This is Lauren Sands. Are you busy? He sounded surprised to hear from her. I've got a few minutes to talk. I don't have any updates to offer you, though. She smiled. That's okay. I've got one to offer you. There was a slight pause on the other end of the line before she heard him say, Okay, what's the update? She laughed. Hawkeye just called me. He's with my friends, Mortus and Seymour. Another long pause ensued. I'm glad to hear he's safe. Did he tell you where he's been? She shook her head. No, he didn't have a lot of time to talk and said he'd explain later. Detective Man grunted. I'd sure appreciate it if he'd come in and give me an update himself. When he gets back, that is. Do you know when it's going to be? No, I'm pretty sure he's eager to get back home, though. I know he's missing his girls, she told him. You? The detective asked, sounded curious. Lauren laughed. No, Lady Fireball the Furry. He adores that cat. The detective chuckled. She's missed him, too. She keeps meowing at the door as if asking me where he's at and when she can go home. Lauren could only imagine. She isn't causing you too much trouble, I hope. Detective Man chuckled. Nah, she's good company, honestly. My roommate doesn't mind her either. Lauren couldn't think of much more to say, but she didn't want to stop talking to him either. She fished for something new to add to the conversation. Do you have enough cat food? Did you want to bring some by? He asked. I thought it might be good if she saw a familiar face, you know, Lauren suggested. Sure. How about this evening around 7, he offered. Lauren grinned. That sounds good. I shouldn't have much going on at that time. 7 it is, then. I'll be sure to let Fireball know you're coming over, he said. This might seem kind of awkward, but did you want to join me for dinner while you're visiting Fireball? Lauren thought he'd never ask. I'd love to. Great, I'll see you then. Any dietary preferences, he asked her. She shook her head. Only have 4 rules about food, detective. He chuckled. Oh, really? And what are those? She smiled as she told him. It can't look at me, bleed on me, make noises at me, or attempt to move away from me. If it does one of those 4, it's not done enough, and you need to put it back in the oven until it stops. Other than that, if it's food and I'm hungry, it's going to get eaten. He laughed out loud this time. Duly noted. Glad to know you're not a picky eater. My cooking isn't exactly Martha Stewart quality. She joined in the laughter. Neither is mine, Detective Man. Neither is mine. He paused. You can call me Earl, you know. She smiled. Earl it is. They hung up the phone and Lauren felt happier than she felt in a while. Haka was coming home and she had a date. Her mother used to tell her that God worked all things for the good of those who loved him and were called according to his purpose, but she'd stopped believing that the day her father walked out the door and didn't come back. This felt different, like there was more at work here than just wishful thinking. All right, so that's where we left off with that chapter. So we've learned a few things. Furball is wrecking the place. Hey, it's Rob. Good to see you. All right, so we are writing a chapter where Earl makes his move. So I guess we're writing it from Earl's perspective then. I gotta remember to bump up the font size so you guys can actually see what we're writing. Ugh, that was an awkward sentence. Yeah, first rule of being a cat. Nothing is ever good enough. Ever. Oh, goodness. Okay, so let's read back what we got so far. Wow, we're chewing through this chapter fast. Chapter 38, Earl makes his move. Earl swore as he touched the skillet's hot handle by accident. He shook out the pain and reached for the pot holders, checking the time as he adjusted the heat. Should be ready right on time, he thought. Fireball, nose in the air, appeared in the doorway. Mew, she asked, as if asking him what the plan was for dinner. Nothing for you, miss. Your food's right over there, he said, pointing toward the untouched food at the sides of the bowl. She blinked at him and looked at the bowl. Mew. He sighed, walked over to the bowl, and shook it so that all the food returned to the center, then put it back down in front of her. See? Plenty of food. She sniffed at it and looked back at him. Mew. He set the bowl down. No, you can't have some. This is for Lauren and me. Mew. Was Fireball's response as she followed him toward the stove. He sighed and picked her up, then brought her into the living room and dropped her on the couch. No, you are not invited to share in that dinner. Fireball stared at the door. Mew. Earl sighed. No, you can't go outside. No, Hawkeye's not back yet. Sorry, girl. She gave him a look that suggested she didn't believe a word he'd said, then began to clean herself as if he no longer existed in her eyes. He shook his head and started to head back toward the kitchen when the doorbell rang. He swung it open to find Lauren there, wine bottle in hand. Thought I'd bring something to add to the party. Fireball leapt off the couch and ran in Lauren's direction, rubbing herself against Lauren's legs. She seems happy to see you, he chuckled. She was complaining about her food a moment earlier. Oh, Lauren asked, reaching down to scratch Fireball behind the ears. She seemed to think she should be included in what we're having for dinner and didn't seem at all impressed with what's in her bowl, he explained. Lauren shrugged. Can you blame her? Earl laughed. No, I guess I can't. I probably wouldn't want to eat what's in the bowl either. And I'm hoping what I'm cooking is a far sight better than what's in the bowl. Lauren grinned. Me too. I'm not sure this wine pairs well with cat food. All right. So, what is going to happen during dinner? Let's see. Oh, they talk about, I guess. Oh, yes, hardening his resolve. I like that. Hawkeye's case. Lauren's reluctance to accept the invitation. Let's see. They can discuss any or all of these, I suppose. Or maybe all at once. I'm so glad to have you guys with me. Feels good. It's a good Saturday. Oh, nice. Got 3 votes for 3 directions. Good job, y'all. Yeah, exactly. He's got to ask about her band if he's trying to get it over at all. Yep, yep, yep. All right, so here we go. Let's see. We'll pick up where we left off. Lauren looked at his hand when he took off the oven mitt and asked, "You burn yourself?" Earl nodded. "Just a bit." Lauren winked. "Want me to kiss it and make it all better?" Earl felt his face getting hot at the thought of those lips on his skin. He scrambled to think of something safe to say. He didn't have to, though. Fireball came to his unexpected rescue by jumping up on the table. Lauren shook her head and picked up the cat. "I see what you mean by her insisting on being part of the party." She looked at Fireball. "You stay out of this, Missy. I don't need your help with my date, thank you." She returned Fireball to the front room before walking back to the dining nook. "Skillet spaghetti?" she asked, referring to the dish on the table. Earl nodded. "It's something my mom used to make. I figured you might enjoy it." They sat down together and she poured them both a glass of wine. "I hope you like the Merlot I got. It's one of my favorites." "How's Hawkeye?" he asked. "Back home yet?" Oh, let's see. Lauren took a sip of the wine before answering. Her nose crinkled. "He's back. I forgot to tell him you wanted to meet with him. Got distracted by what he brought with him." Earl raised an eyebrow. "What he brought with him?" She nodded. "A job offer. From me and a couple other members of Mortus's dream. From the military, no less." Both of Earl's eyebrows rose. "A job offer? You planning to accept?" She didn't strike him as the military sort. "I don't like the idea. I'm inclined to say no, but I know everyone in our group is hurting for money, and I'm told they want us all or none of us," she admitted. Earl sipped his own wine. "What exactly is it they want you to do? I mean, if you're free to tell me." Lauren shrugged one shoulder. "I don't know. They haven't explained it." Earl nodded. "Then it doesn't hurt to listen and hear them out, does it? Maybe ask for more details. That's what I'd do if it were me." She sighed. "Yeah, I guess that makes sense." He could tell she was growing uncomfortable with the conversation, so he switched topics. "So how's the band? Toxic Chemical Smoothie, right? Now that Hawkeye's back, you got any gigs lined up?" Her face brightened. "As a matter of fact, we've got one this weekend. Want to come?" He smiled. "I do. What time's the gig and where? If I don't have to work, you can count on me being there." Ooh. Which part? Earlier or now? Oof. All right, I think that works. Let's see. The discussion slowed down as he served them each a hearty helping of the skillet spaghetti. Earl's imagination got the better of him as he watched her eating. She noticed his eyes on her and gave him a grin. "This is delicious. Thanks for dinner." "My pleasure," he murmured. "Happy to be of service." "Speaking of service, should I call Hawkeye and let him know where to pick up Fireball?" she asked. "I can bring her with me to the office if that's easier for him," Earl offered. Lauren nodded. "I think he'd appreciate that." She pulled out her phone and sent a text message, then tucked it back into her purse. "I've let him know. I'll let you know what he says. He's still recovering from that ordeal, but I think having Fireball back would help him heal." "Might help my couch heal, too," Earl quipped. "She's been using it as a scratching post since she got here." They lapsed back into momentary silence as they went back to eating. Earl searched for something meaningful to say, but he wasn't a man who was big on words. He preferred action. And the actions on his mind weren't exactly polite conversation. Oh my goodness. We have successfully managed an entire chapter. All right. We are at 3-ish. So we'll call that a good stopping place for today. Now that we've got this far into that romance, what's going to happen next? Where do we go next? Do we jump back to Delilah and Seymour? Do we head back to Tolston and DeVries and Jacobs? What's next for next week? You guys be thinking about it. And I'm going to call that a stream. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been fabulous. I've had a lot of fun. I think we got a good chapter made. And the pretzel just keeps twisting. Any suggestions on things you'd like to see? Oh, Diet Coke. No, Diet Coke is nasty.
Pretzel, you need a Diet Coke.
Oh. Oh, I get it. All right. I'm going to stop streaming for now. You guys have a great